I came home for the holidays, hoping maybe this year would be different. But when I stepped onto the porch, my mom opened the door, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "You weren't invited. This is just for family." I didn't say a word. I simply turned around and walked away. A few minutes later, my sister texted, "Don't take it personally. You know how you are." I smiled, not because it was funny, because it was predictable. I drove until I found a gas station with decent reception. Sat there in silence for a bit. Then, without a second thought, I froze the joint bank account, canceled all the utility payments I'd been covering, and shut down every credit card they had access to. By morning, my voicemail was full. The family group chat was in chaos. I hadn't been home in nearly 2 years. Not since that last Thanksgiving, when my uncle got drunk and ranted about politics while my mom cried in the kitchen because I had the audacity to leave early. I thought maybe this time would be better. Softer, maybe. That they might have missed me. I sent my travel details 3 weeks in advance. No one replied, but I chalked it up to the usual cold shoulders and clipped responses. Still, I went. The flight was long, the drive even longer. I brought a pie, something to break the ice, or at least try. Before I could knock, the door swung open. My mom stood there, wearing a sweater I'd given her 3 birthdays ago. She looked straight through me, like I was a stranger. What she said next hit harder than I expected. I didn't argue. Didn't ask why. Didn't even look past her to see who was welcome this year. I just turned around, got in my car, and left. By the time I got home, I knew exactly what I was going to do. The joint finances, locked. The automatic payments for water, electricity, internet, gone. The emergency credit cards I'd let them use, deactivated. I went to bed without a shred of guilt. The next morning, I had 9 voicemails. My mom, my sister, even my cousin, who usually stays out of family drama. My sister left a long message about how no one saw this coming. The group chat blew up with someone asking if their card had stopped working. I didn't respond. I just watched it unravel, one frantic message at a time. By noon, I had 2 missed calls from my brother. The same brother who hadn't spoken to me in nearly a year, unless he needed something fixed or funded. That was always his style, too proud to ask for help until rent was due. Then suddenly, I'd exist again. This time, no voicemail. Just hang-ups and a few texts that started out passive-aggressive and quickly turned angry. My sister sent 3 voice notes back-to-back, followed by a wall of text claiming I had overreacted and that the timing was unfair. She said no one expected me to actually show up. I had a habit of making everything about myself, but this time I stayed quiet. Mom was just stressed, they said. But I wasn't going to play therapist to a family that had forgotten I was one of them the moment I moved out and built a life on my own. I didn't freeze the account out of anger. I did it because I finally saw the truth. I was the only one treating it like a safety net. To everyone else, it was an endless resource. They used it for groceries, bills, even streaming services I never touched. I hadn't lived under that roof in 3 years. I wasn't even using their Wi-Fi. Yet I was the one paying to keep the lights on. No one ever said thank you. Not once. That afternoon, the group chat was buzzing. My sister was trying to explain things to extended family without making herself or Mom look bad. My cousin asked why the electricity was out. My brother sent half a dozen texts asking who had messed with the cards. Nobody mentioned my name, but they all knew. I didn't say a word. Just watched. Watched them struggle to make sense of what had happened without facing the truth, that I'd been the one quietly holding everything together. And the moment I stepped away, the whole thing unraveled in less than a day. No one had the courage to message me directly. Still, not a single apology. Not even from Mom. By the 3rd day, the messages slowed down. Maybe they were ashamed. Or maybe they thought if they ignored me long enough, I'd come back with an apology and money. What they didn't know was that I had the receipts. Literally. I went through my bank records, tracking every transaction I'd covered while they called me selfish. Rent gaps, dental emergencies, unnecessary Uber rides, and even a suspicious order from a luxury brand my sister swore she'd never heard of, it was all there. Years of small favors that had turned into financial dependence. I created a spreadsheet, not out of revenge, but for clarity. Sometimes, seeing it laid out helps you realize how far things have gone. I listed the dates, amounts, who spent what. By the end, they owed me over $18,000, quietly taken. Conveniently forgotten. That night, my sister posted a vague status about fake family and how money changes people. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The comments were full of questions she couldn't answer without exposing the truth. Then came another round of group chat messages. Mom finally wrote something. Short, passive-aggressive, and clearly not meant for me directly. She said it wasn't right to hold money over people's heads, that families shouldn't punish each other like this. My brother chimed in. My cousin stayed silent. I read it once and closed the app. Let them rant. Let them twist the story however they wanted. What they didn't know was that I'd already booked appointments, with a lawyer and a financial advisor. Not to sue, but to make sure they could never again access anything tied to my name. They called it punishment. I called it closure. 4 days after cutting them off, someone knocked on my door. It wasn't random. No one in my family visits without notice, especially not since I stopped answering every call like I was on standby. I looked through the peephole. It was my sister. Arms folded. Eyes already rolling before I even opened the door. I waited a full minute before opening it, just enough to make it clear she wasn't stepping into a warm welcome. She didn't ask to come in. Didn't greet me. She started talking the moment the door cracked open. Said Mom was upset, the house was falling apart, Christmas was ruined, and everyone was hurting because I chose to make a point. Like I'd walked away from a minor argument, not years of being taken for granted. I let her talk in circles until she finally got to the real reason she was there. They wanted me to unlock the joint account. Just for the holidays. Just to cover a few things. Just until things smoothed out. I told her it was already closed. For good. Not frozen. Shut down. Transferred. Replaced. The balance was zero. The bank had a note on file. No one could access it without me there in person with ID. Her face changed. Panic flashed in her eyes. The moment she realized the safety net was gone, and it wasn't coming back. She didn't argue. Just turned and left, slamming the door behind her. The echo lasted a full minute. An hour later, the group chat went completely silent. No texts. No memes. Nothing. It was the quietest holiday I'd had in years. And for the first time, I wasn't angry. I felt free. I went back to work the day after New Year's. Same desk. Same emails. Same routine. And it felt good, stable, calm. My coworkers asked how my break was. I told them it was restful. That wasn't a lie. For once, I hadn't spent it fixing someone else's mess. During lunch, I checked my phone. The group chat had come alive again. My cousin added me back. I almost muted it, but curiosity won. Apparently, the house had lost power again. Mom missed the due date. Water was inconsistent. My brother's car got towed after being pulled over with expired tags and no insurance. My sister was fighting with her landlord over late rent. Her backup plan had disappeared. It would have been easy to feel smug. But I didn't. I simply uploaded my spreadsheet, the one with all the evidence, and posted it in the chat. No message. Just the file. Then I left the group. 2 minutes later, Mom called. I ignored it. My sister sent a message saying I had gone too far. I blocked her. One by one, I closed every door they used to reach me. The best revenge wasn't watching them fall apart. It was realizing I didn't care anymore. Their chaos wasn't mine to carry. I could wake up, sip my coffee, go to work, and live my life, untouched by their drama. I booked a vacation with the money I used to spend on them. Not to run away, but to celebrate. Because peace was never something they gave me. I had to claim it for myself. And this time, I wasn't giving it back. The holidays passed quietly. No calls. No texts. The group chat stayed dead. The house was still theirs, along with the chaos. But I wasn't part of it anymore. I wasn't the fixer, the fallback, or the family scapegoat. I was just me, someone who chose freedom over obligation, peace over guilt. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who you choose to keep close. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. In a world full of silence, your like, comment, and subscription could be the voice that changes everything. Join the journey. Subscribe now.